Hello everyone and welcome to another training video. So this time we are going to see how to execute a missed approach and then enter the holding pattern. So the previous time we made a direct entry to the holding pattern. This time, because of the missed approach, we will have to execute a parallel entry to the holding pattern. So once again, because I won't be able to show you the chart in game, I will switch to the chart, explain how it's going to happen, and explain what is a parallel entry to the holding pattern rather than the direct entry we did last time. And once we've explained everything, we will get back into the helicopter to continue our approach, execute the missed approach, and then fly the entry to the holding pattern. And once we are properly set in the holding pattern, from there on it's going to be a regular holding pattern. So let's have a look at the chart. This is the chart we will be using for the missed approach and parallel entry to the holding pattern. So it's the same chart as the previous video. So if you downloaded it or made a screenshot of it, it's going to be the same chart. So what we are going to do this time is we will continue with the ILS approach, and then prior to landing we will execute a missed approach. This is one of the main point of this tutorial, how to execute a missed approach. Everything is explained here. Missed approach. So climb to 6,500 feet, maintain runway track. Okay, so we will be at a heading of 011. When we execute the missed approach, we keep that heading and we climb, or we start our climb to 6,500 feet until we reach 2 nautical miles. We will still be what DME, because sometimes it says the ILS, so here it's mentioned CTV, 2 DME CTV. There you are, viewer DME CTV. So it should be the viewer that we will be tracking at that point. And when we reach 2 nautical miles, we turn left to heading of 330. Okay, to intercept the 346 radial. So lots of things are going to happen here. So while we are climbing, we monitor. As soon as we reach 2 nautical miles, we turn 330 and we kind of select 346 as course. And once we intercept that course, we remain on it until we reach 6,500 feet, at which point we turn right. Okay, we turn right and we go direct to VOR CTV. Okay, and once we reach VOR CTV, we'll continue this way. Okay, so it will be a heading of 192 until we reach the 6.7 DME. Is still on VOR CTV, but this is where it differs. First, we did a direct entry, that is, we came from here and we entered the holding pattern, and then we kept doing left turns. You saw it in the previous video, but this time we will be coming this way, and when we reach this point we will continue. It's supposed to be the inbound course, but we will continue this way. This is why it's called parallel entry, because it's parallel with the leg it's supposed to track. So we'll continue this way, and as soon as we reach 6.7 nautical miles, we will start our timer. Just when we reach 1 minute, we will turn. Okay, and all turns should be done inside the holding pattern area. So it means that we will be turning to our right, because we will be coming in this direction. We'll turn to our right, but this time we'll keep turning, and we will go back to the FAP, to this point. And once we reach this point, then we can continue to fly the pattern as it should. Okay, so what we are going to do in this video, we are going to execute the missed approach, we're going to do the parallel entry, and then we're going to enter the holding pattern properly. and then the rest it will be as we did in the previous video. So once again, if you haven't downloaded this chart, yes, I recommend you to download it, or main print screen when I will be showing of the whole chart on the screen. Now that we are back in the helicopter, a few things to point out. So of course I've already set the altimeter properly according to the data at the airport. I'm flying at 80 knots, and as you can see here, I'm maintaining that speed with the autopilot. I am already on the ILS, the glide slope already captured. So what I have is I have a VOR2 for the ILS, and I have still the DME, CTV DME VOR on nav 1, which is going to be important as explained when we were discussing the chart. So what we are going to do here is we're going to continue our descent, okay, and in the meantime, because we will be climbing 6,500 feet, I can already set my altitude to 6,500. There we go. Next is I'm gonna track VOR2 because the ILS is on VOR2, so that we switch back to VOR1 when we'll be executing the missed approach. So we're on our way here, and then I will set the heading bug. Where it is? There it is. There you go. So the key here is not to panic and mix up things. So one by one, as usual, I will be disconnecting autopilot and everything prior to the landing, and then of course we're going to be executing missed approach. That's why I have already set my heading bug runway heading, because the initial part is going to be done manually, because we will be already flying the helicopter ourselves. So let's wait a little bit more. So I think now is a good point for what we want to demonstrate. So I will be switching back to manually flying the helicopter in a moment. So just getting prepared. Okay, so there you go. I am on SAS. So everything as usual for the moment. Still can't find the airport, or something is not right. Maybe I'm too high, or stuff's not going as planned. So what I do is I initiate a climb. So I'm executing the miss approach, and I'm reporting miss. So I climb, put back some power, and here, because I disengaged the autopilot and now I'm established in a climb, I just need to take care of the airspeed before engaging the autopilot. So here we are, and now heading altitude. Okay, and I will also capture the airspeed. So now airspeed, I will set it to 80, and altitude we have to choose 6.5 again. so you can pre-select, and then we'll climb 7,000 feet and then switch to VOR1 and DME1. Okay, so as soon as we reach 2 nautical miles, you can already prepare the course. It's going to be 346. So 346. There you are. This is why it's good to already input the frequency. So it's still underneath us. That's why it will take some time before reading 2 nautical miles because we're still above the airport. So we are climbing, confirmed, climbing to 6,500. Okay, now you will see it's increasing. Okay, 1 nautical mile, so 1 more nautical mile to go. So we make sure we are tracking. You have to be careful when switching from nav 1 to nav 2. Here I'm nav 1, here also nav 1. Course says 346. There we go, 346, almost 2 nautical miles. So it says a turn to 330. There it is, a turn to 330. I'm executing the turn to 330, and I will be tracking that course. So could already arm. There we go. Once again, climbing to 6,500 as instructed. At 2 nautical miles DME, we did our right turn to 330. We're going to capture 346 for the CTV VOR. There it is, captured it, and now the helicopter is going to maneuver. And once this deviation path is aligned, it will travel this way. So the heading back for the moment now, it's not being used, it's on nav. So we have to wait until we reach 6,500. So a bit of flying to do, but that's the instructions. And of course some helicopters and aircrafts, all this are automated. But that's why I like to do those gauges, because when you do the actual work, you kind of understand better what's behind each and every step. Because if you just sit and press a button and everything is being taken care of, you don't exactly understand all the things required for something that looks simple if you press a button and everything is done. But when you have to do each and every step yourself, you have a better understanding of how to do things. And remember, here we are using autopilot, but all those things can be done without autopilot. Instrument flying and autopilot are two different things. You can instrument fly without autopilot, and that's what we are going to do maybe at the end, because in a simulator it's probably the most difficult thing to do, because here, as you can see, I can hands-free change my view here, zoom here, and then change the frequency, because autopilot is flying the helicopter. But when you're hand flying the helicopter, when you have to change frequency, swap this, swap that, select the course and all, it is much more difficult. In real life, you just access the knob. Everything is at hand. But in the simulator, it's difficult. That's why I kept it for last. Even if normally this is what we should have started. In real life, you learn to fly instrument flying without the autopilot and all. But I've just explained why we did the autopilot thing first. Because in a simulator, it's easier. You can just let autopilot do the main thing so that you get to concentrate on each and every step. And once you've understood how everything works, then we are going to be shifting to the non-autopilot equipped helicopters and try to fly those approaches and those procedures without autopilot. So 1,000 feet more to go, and then we will turn right and we will be tracking the there it is. This is going to indicate us exactly where the viewer station is. So here we go. I already select the heading bug. My current heading here, 500 feet more to go. Okay, it has already captured the altitude. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to shift to heading. Okay, I'm going to shift to heading and I will turn right. Okay, I will start a right turn. And since I've already started the right turn, heading exactly back to the VOR station is just positioning the heading bug where the tail of the arrow is. And now that we are tracking the heading and not the VOR, so what we can do, we can set the course back to where it should be. So it's going to be there it is. Now you will see the DMA decrease. 10.2, 10.1, and actually we could go ahead and increase our airspeed because we have a minimum airspeed that we should respect. And even if we increase our airspeed to maybe 120, not going to affect anything. Once again, put that heading back where the arrow was, so we're going back to the or you could use the course selector when those two lines meet, but since we have this option, that's why I'm using it. Excuse me. So once we get closer to the VOR station, then I will reduce my speed back to the 80 knots. This was the missed approach part of the flight. We will now do the parallel entry to the holding pattern part in a moment. So still tracking N1, that is the VOR. We are on N1 here. VOR 1. And once again, I'm just explaining to you the procedure. Then you figure out in your helicopter what the button you need to press, if you are using autopilot of course, how you need to set up things in your radio and all. I'm just showing you the general procedure. Zoom out and put it maybe this way so that we can have the clock too, because we will be using the clock in a moment. So remember, we're still on heading mode here. We're going back as indicated by the bearing here towards the VOR, as also indicated by our decreasing DME, means distance measuring equipment. Distance is decreasing, so when I hit around 2 nautical miles, I will reduce the airspeed to 80 knots. And also very important, don't forget to set your altimeter properly. There we go, 4 nautical miles until we reach the VOR station. Now maybe if I zoom, which I don't do usually, there it is. Where is it? Oh, I thought I saw it. No. Anyway. There. Now the clock and everything. Now, because sometimes things start to change suddenly, I will already reduce my airspeed to 80. Knots. Not paying attention too much outside, because you could be doing this with poor visibility or no visibility, so still watching that DME. This is going to be an indication where we're going to pass the station. And remember, once again, we're still on heading mode. 1.6, 1.5. Strong wind at Cape Town International. There you go, you see it starts to fluctuate and everything, so I'm gonna turn my heading to match it exactly with that arrow here, but it's at the other end for the moment, because now when it starts to track, okay, I start my timer, so I will say a little bit more than 3. Okay, I'm counting 1 minute. So that's the parallel entry we just executed here. That's the parallel entry. And we are going to fly up to 6.7 actually. So forget about the clock. We need to reach 6.7 here first. Then we start the countdown. So actually I could increase the airspeed, get there faster. So if you remember when I was explaining the chart, once you pass the VOR, you have to fly to the FAP, which is at 6.7 nautical miles from the VOR. So that's what we are doing. And when we reach that point, 6.7, now we start the countdown of 1 minute. Zoom out a little bit, just a little bit. 4 nautical miles, 2.7 nautical miles more to go. So we haven't entered the traffic pattern yet, so we will be entering the traffic pattern with a parallel entry once we reach 6.7 nautical miles. Parallel entry to the holding pattern. Now I'm sorry, sometimes I can say traffic pattern instead of holding pattern, so you understand it's holding pattern we're talking about. Just in case I kind of use the wrong word. So 6.1, 6.2, I can already start to decrease. I could keep it at 130, but just because, you know, it's a simulator, sometimes it does some crazy things, I will keep it at 100. 6.7. Okay, so at 6. Now we did a parallel entry. So it was at 6 here. I will wait for that needle to return back to 6. That will be 1 minute. So we are officially in the holding pattern here, parallel entry as I explained on the chart, except that we are going the opposite direction we're supposed to go. That's why we call it parallel. As you can see, it's parallel to this course here. So approaching 1 minute, so we will make a right turn once we reach 1 minute here. So there we go, 15 seconds more to go. If you have a chronometer, of course it's easier, but in this helicopter we don't have, so there we go, almost at 6. Still on heading here. There we go, so now I start my right turn just to make it start the turn. I keep turning, and from this point, okay, it will keep turning. As soon as I started this right turn, it will keep turning right, and I can even go ahead and make it capture the actual course here, and that's what we will be actually doing. There we go. So now we just did a parallel entry and now entering the holding pattern properly. So from this point, apart from the altitude, we are at 6,500. When we did the direct entry, we were at 9,000, but from this point onwards, it's exactly the same thing. So once you reach 6.7, here again you turn left, and same thing as we did to keep to remain in the holding pattern. So this tutorial was about the missed approach that we did and about the parallel entry which we just did, and now we're going back. Let me put the Waze heading bug. There it is. Okay, you're flying back towards the FAP. There you go, so you can do this. Start the turn because it's already 6.7. And same as we were doing, it's a left turn, remember. Keep the left turn, and once it is on the left turn, just put the heading bug the other side of the arrow. So now we are on the outbound leg, and once it's complete an outbound leg, we count 1 minute again. So that's all to it. So I hope you find this video helpful. If you do, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in another video. Until then, take care. Bye bye.